Okay, so interviewing candidates for Vice President Community Welfare. James Ward and Marcus Bernasconi, thanks for coming in. Are you quite excited today? Because obviously campaigning starts at 1 o'clock. How are you feeling, James?
Feeling quite good actually, ready to go.
Ready to go, campaign team ready, have you got posters ready?
All prepared.
And Marcus?
Can't wait to get started, I'm really ready to go.
Really ready. So then, why have you chosen to rerun for Vice President Community Welfare, James?
We had 3 years of vice presidents who I don't think did the role as much justice as they could have done. And that involves us sort of being out in the community, changing certain welfare campaigns, thinking about how we do things, making it more of a strategic position as opposed to something that was based on just events. And I've tried to start doing that. Rome wasn't built in a day. It's been 7 months, 8 months even. In order to make sure that transition is full and proper, that will take a bit more time. And that's why we're running, to further the student experience and to ensure the position is the way it should be.
And then why are you running for the position?
Well, I actually think your predecessors actually did quite a good job, and I mean, it's all about progress, but I think they did actually do quite well. But I'm in particularly running because I think that we can actually see a real change if I get elected. You know, we can do things a little bit differently than they have done, and I'll actually hit the ground running, and hopefully in a year I'll be able to do as much as James has.
Okay, so Marcus, in your manifesto you talk about the need for the union to push for a freeze in Hall's deposits. What's your understanding of how the union has responded today on that issue?
I understand that the union has been running a very similar campaign to what I'll be running in Fresh Week. They've been putting a petition to students as well, but I just don't think that's enough. I think more can be done, and I'm going to run a similar campaign, but hopefully I'm going to run it more effectively. So I'm going to go out and actually speak to students, find out their opinions, report back, and hopefully we'll see a real change.
You write in your manifesto, and I'm reading directly from it, as a union we need to be pushing for a freeze on the Hall's deposit fee. Recently it has been noted that our union representatives have known about this rise for months and remained inactive until only recently. James Ward, remained inactive until only recently. Is that a fair assessment of your kind of work on this issue?
No, not at all. I don't think it's a fair assessment. I think it's a misunderstood assessment like that. But that's fair to say. I think there's a lot of misunderstanding about how these things work. When in terms of the university, we found out via Facebook in late November, December. We then took it straight to the Vice Chancellor and the Pro Vice Chancellors, after which we got a response in January. We realised that things being done, which was the General Assembly. And meetings with the Vice Chancellor happen weekly, off for Christmas and for 2 weeks. Meetings with the Pro Vice Chancellor happen weekly as well. If you don't get that time to that face-to-face interaction to have a response and chase them up, you can't act on it. So I think that's probably why it looks like we haven't done much. However, now it's gone to Finance Committee. I've equipped the SU President with a dossier, facts and figures from other university departments we've got links with, and petitions, signatures, Facebook screenshots of people who actually stated, why is this an issue, and that's going to Finance Committee for mid-March. And if that issue can be fought there, that's been done.
Okay. Does that tally with you what you understood of what the issue?
I kind of think
started?
if you did find out in November, which is fair because we know that you did, 3 months is a long time. Campaigning could have been done. I know you're in contact with the university, but still things can be done about that. It shouldn't take 3 months, and it shouldn't have to go through student assembly for you to actually do your job and get active and out there and engaging with students. But that's just my opinion. I think it's a great thing that you're doing, but I think you've had the time. You've had 3 months to do it.
It's a fair assessment, I suppose, but we acted as a union, as a sabbatical team, in the best interest of what we thought was best. And I sought advice from other officers as well, and that was the best way we thought to progress. If some students disagree, some students disagree. We have been out there talking to students and finding that information.
Do we have now a written assurance about freezing the deposit for any period of time? Is that the next 3 years or the next year? Do you
not until mid-March, I'm afraid, not until Finance Committee.
So you expect that if it was to come, it would come in the future? It's not going to come now?
It won't come right away. We'll have to wait till next meeting, which will happen in 2 or 3 weeks.
Okay. In your manifesto, James, you talk about fulfilling your vision at Brunel. Why haven't you been able to fulfill? You touched on this in your opening. So again, just maybe to expand on why you haven't been able to fulfill that vision of the community engagement here at Brunel.
It started. I've got quite a broad vision, quite a broad scope, and that involves collaboration with other university departments, finding out what people are doing. Fair to say that it takes a while to get these things off the ground. So by the time we got the reading project started, it should have started earlier. It didn't for certain reasons.
Yeah.
Schools were prepared, and we had to go over a few things to make sure we covered our backs. Trustee responsibilities. So there were certain things we had to do to make sure that it would slow down a bit.
Did you feel there was any barriers to you changing things up a bit? I mean, did take away the community issue? Because you know, a new vice president going into the union, you had a really good plan for a policy. Did you feel that there were barriers in implementing?
It was less of a policy and more of a project to see what we could actually do. We never explored it before. We never had this possibility. No one had ever done it from the union. It never really been on the agenda. It never been formalised. Now we're at a position where we're going to the council, working with the council, and getting a staff member to help support that. And that's because I initiated the process in the first place. If we didn't get it on the agenda, we wouldn't have been able to fulfill this. So it's just my vision is bigger and broader than time will allow.
And you need a bit more time now
to make sure that it's actually fully fulfilled.
Okay. You, Marcus Bernasconi, you talk about rebranding campaigns and remarketing them. Is that a reflection of your kind of assessment of the union marketing activity at the moment?
I think rebranding is a really important part of what I want to do in the future. So within the next year, we need to, kind of give a facelift to some of the key campaigns. So, for example, the Pride in the Community scheme, which I think is a brilliant scheme that James has set up, it's just not reaching enough people. That's a fact. If you go out there on the concourse, speak to a student, they're not going to know what the Pride in the Community scheme is. We need to re-engage students, and I think rebranding campaigns is one of the first steps to doing that.
Okay, so what are your thoughts on the current marketing? Is it a campaign or is this the whole union?
I don't think it's the union as a whole. I think strategically maybe James could have done things a bit differently in terms of engaging students. We've run some great campaigns. I think the sex, drugs and alcohol campaign was a brilliant campaign, and that was actually marketed really well. But things like mental health awareness, I think that was a bit of a mixed message. And as I said, Pride in the Community. So I don't think it's the union's media department. They're fantastic.
Okay, so to be clear, it is limited to the union's kind of campaigns, not the union itself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry if that was it.
No. Do you have any questions for each other now? Do you have any questions at all? You thought about, because obviously you've done some research, you've worked together before, perhaps you might have a question for each other.
I understand what you've said about maybe needing 2 years to do your job because of the amount you want to achieve. So my question is, if kind of previous vice presidents we've had, such as ones for academic representation, they can get their whole remit done in a year, hit the ground running over summer, what's different?
It's hard to see change in these positions. We're not changing policy here, we're changing attitudes. It takes a lifetime to change an attitude. You look at civil rights, you look at LGBT rights, you look at disability campaigns. It's taken a lifetime to change attitudes. And only now we really start to do awards. I'm dealing with social issues, not policy. With other presidents and other VPARs, they've been able to make 2 or 3 small changes, which have been to great effect. In this position I'm in, it was about identifying what needs to be done and then taking the time to do it. Community relations are not going to change overnight, but we've actually already seen a drop and a decline in complaints already in the last few months. So it's more about taking the time needed to do it and doing it properly than rushing it for it in a year.
Have you got any questions at all for Marcus?
No, I'm actually all right. No, it's all good.
So now's your opportunity. You've got a bit of time now to talk to Brunel students and encourage them to vote for you. So James Ward, why should Brunel students vote for you?
I'm the incumbent. I'm the only officer standing, and I bring valuable skills and development to the role. I can help the new officers become as effective, and I can help the team develop as much as needed. And I also think I've got a great vision for welfare, a great strategic vision for welfare. I've been a great mentor to some of my chairs, and I'd like to continue that.
And Marcus, why should Brunel students vote for you?
I think a lot has been said about stability. I think I've already said this. And to me, stability means, stagnation, not getting a lot done. And I think if you really want to see a real change, which I'm going to emphasise, and some new face in the union, let's get 4 new officers. Let's actually get a change that the students will be able to see. And that's why you need to vote for me.
Okay, James Ward, Marcus Bernasconi, standing for Vice President, Community Welfare. Thank you for coming.
Thanks, George.